republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Helpers.
Here.
Mr. Schulte.
Here.
Mr. DeBoer.
Here.
Mr. Madden.
Here.
December 27th, 2024 agenda. One item I need to take off of there for legal advice. I did get the desired response from having that on the agenda, so it does not need to be discussed. So I would take a motion removing that to approve the agenda unless somebody else has something else they want to add on there.
With that change, I'd make a motion to accept it.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any corrections to December 23rd, 2024 minutes?
I'd make a motion to accept those minutes.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discuss jail remodel bids. Resolution number 22.
Oh, you're gonna call John Hanson? Is it okay if I call John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Midwest, John Hanson speaking.
Hi, John, this is Rochelle. We're in open session, to discuss the jail.
Okay, good morning.
Morning. Did you guys get the information you were looking for?
Yeah, I don't know if I was looking for that, but yeah. I don't know. After having reviewed that, I think it should just go back to the voters. So we get what we want to begin with. At this point, it's so far scaled back from where we started. We're not really getting what we want. I don't know how you're gonna try to add that stuff back in later. But, you know, the public gave their blessing to spend $5 million, and we're well exceeded over that. And I do got some concerns with how large that change orders are gonna be with that as well.
If we go back to bids again, we'll never come close to what we're looking for.
The jail hasn't been scaled back as far as that goes, and it was always supposed to be the jail. The other was supposed to be phased in construction in the future. So the jail has not been scaled back. I mean, that has remained as we've had it before. The only thing changed in the jail was some of the VE items that I looked at in the jail, like the septic system for the washer and dryer that's never been put in a job before.
It says total square footage of new facility and upper level expansion. Is that both upper and lower levels, total square feet, or is that,
Yes.
so then if we're only building one floor, it's half that much?
Well, you still got to build the upper level. I mean, that's part of the square footage. You're only building the lower level as designed. The maximum medium security areas and the special status areas.
So then the dollar per square foot is twice that much, actually?
Why would it be twice that much?
Because we're not doing the upper level expansion. It's built to handle that, but we don't have that square footage with this project.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still building the shell of it up above and sizing everything to accommodate the future expansions, which will be minimal cost to put the future expansion on in the future, and it also maintains all your sight lines in the facility instead of adding on to a facility where you might not be able to see in those areas. It still maintains all the sight lines, which will minimize any operational costs in the future because it's not so spread out.
I don't think I understood. So future expansion of a second level of holding area is all within the current walls or design. I thought it would be added to and go up.
No, it is included in thing. All you do is take out the drywall wall up there, and then you put your cell blocks up there, and the HVAC, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, day rooms, and everything are sized to accommodate that future expansion because there's minimum requirements. So, I mean, you're not paying to upgrade HVAC at that time. All you're doing is opening the wall, putting the cells up there in the stairs. So, I mean, the cost to finish one of them upper levels, you know, or the lower level of dormitory is $93,000 based on bids we received for the alternates, and the medium max mezzanine is $187,819 in that range to put that area in because they're individual cells and individual toilets and such. So, I mean, you can expand that very easily as you move forward. So basically, you know, with all future expansion, you can get up to 50 beds. Actually, the shelled areas too for the dormitories were added on after. So, I mean, we're doing more than what we originally anticipated, and the cost savings was only $85,000 to delete those areas. So, I guess I don't see the benefit in deleting those two areas. And it keeps the building kind of squared up for you.
Well, I still think at this late date, you're gonna end up with change orders as that project goes along, because the price increases regardless.
So if you were to rebid it, what would you bid? I mean, you're looking at, taking it down to the minimal. So I don't see where we're gonna gain anything by rebidding it.
On this, John, on this communication you sent yesterday with the number of beds, I don't know if I'm getting that to add up right. We won't, if we wouldn't retain the medium or maximum and medium level security cells if the expansion was
Yeah.
done?
Yes, we would.
We would still have 12
You're
maximum
gonna
medium.
have 12 medium maximum security cells, or 12 beds. And then you're gonna also have the 2 special status.
Yeah,
And then you have the expansion capability above those medium maximum security cells of another 12 beds. And then the dormitories, you can get 12 on the bottom and 12 on the top, or 12 total in those areas on each side. 6 on the bottom, 6 on the top. I try to keep them in 12s because it's easier for the staff to manage. And plus, it minimizes the toilet requirements. I only need 1 toilet for 12. Or 1 shower for 12.
my head trying to figure this out. One of those 12s would go away though. I don't see how we get to 50. If we're gonna have currently 12 and 2 special status, then if we do an addition, to me, we would only add 12 on either side. I don't see how you're adding the third 12.
That's the upper level of the medium maximum. So you're not finishing the upper level of the medium maximum security cells. So you have 6 beds that you can put on top of the current beds up on top.
Just put them in the same room? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, they're in the same room. All the HVAC and everything sized to accommodate, and the plumbing is set up to accommodate that upper level expansion in the future above the medium. So if you have the medium maximum security cells down the lower level, that will be duplicated up on the upper level. All you do is take the drywall up and put the cells up there and such, and the stairs, and then you can get 6 on each side of that. So there's your additional 12 on the upper level.
You're not indicating that we have any current dormitory beds.
No,
We would have,
the dormitories were the shelved space that we added. We decided to add to it as a group when I brought it in.
okay.
So those can fit 12 on each side in the future.
Corners,
Or
okay.
they can become medium maximum security cells. I left the concrete out and the plumbing's over there, and the HVAC is in that area. But you could do medium maximum or you could do dormitory. It depends on what our needs are in the future.
So have you ever worked with like USDA with getting grants? I know we can't get additional loan through them, but have you ever for grants to help pay for this expansion?
I've done grants before on hospital projects and such. I don't believe there are any grants available, but with the grants, sometimes you can run into where you have to pay Davis-Bacon wages on the entire job, which can eat up a lot of your grant plus what you up as far as, you know, 'cause you have to pay it on the entire project, Davis-Bacon, so.
We understood we could get a loan, or can't we get a loan because
We
of the
can't,
county? I mean, they do give loans.
the USDA do give loans, but
Yeah.
we're bonded at the 5 million
Okay.
cap. That's our problem.
Okay.
Cause I thought too, we could go like a bank, you know, and get it, but Maggie and Jason said, no, you can't go over the 5 million. So I thought, I didn't know if there was any grants. I didn't know Kevin knew of any grants that we could go after to help, that we don't have to pay back, could help for this. Just trying to reach out to some
We
lots.
can certainly take a look at that, especially, you know, you're moving E911 into the control room over there, which is a secure control room. It meets the current codes because it has a concrete roof on it and it's a wind protected area. They changed the code on that to where you're supposed to have a wind protected area for any police stations, this and that, so.
Cause I don't think we want to get a loan through the USDA, cause then we lose that premium rate, right? I'm guessing.
Understand that.
We're limited on taking any loans because of the referendum
Yeah, I know.
says that we're gonna loan so much, so.
I don't know what geo bonding is running at right now. What range those rates are at, or?
I know, dude. And then I'm just afraid if we get it through the USDA, then we lose that premium, right? That premium rate, 'cause we're not going, right? Or am I not thinking that right?
We would lose it.
That's a lot of money to lose.
Well, I don't like any of the outcomes based on the advice. I don't know that the bids were out of line from what we're gonna see. If we hold off and go to bid, future, the taxpayers are paying for it either way. I think we probably got our best price right now, and
I think
my thought would be we proceed with as bid and not hassle with all of this value engineering deducts and, or at least all of them. My intent would be, this is what we plan to do, this is what we're gonna go ahead and do, and we figure out, I mean, we commit to funding it.
I think we should go ahead.
So I know the renovations aren't necessary for the sheriff, but when you look at the square footage and the costs for both aspects of the job, I don't know that we could take it out now and then do renovations at a later date at a competitive cost. It's an option. I don't know that it would be my first choice. It's gone from, just had that number, what was it, 7.6? He's put in a lot of work to try to bring it down, and we've only gone 700,000. I think some of that is necessary and worth supporting, but I don't think that scale is the approach to take.
There are some VE items that we can still get out of it also, but.
I have no idea what the taxpayers or voters would do if we went back and asked for 8 million referendum instead of 5.
I don't
And
think.
then
it's
if we
going-
rebid, I don't even if it was passed, if we rebid, I don't know if we'd make it then, so.
I'd make a motion to go ahead with resolution 22.
And that's with no commitment to all of the value engineering options that we talked about.
Yeah, we'll pass it as is anyway, so.
I understand, but John's been advising or encouraging us to pass it as is, knowing that we're gonna reduce all this stuff and that's where our savings are. And I'm not sure I'm supportive of the savings he's identified or the cuts he's identified, so it would be supporting as is. I'll offer support to that motion.
Mr. Schulte,
Yes.
Ms. Randall,
Aye.
Mr. DeBoer,
Aye.
Mr. Helmers,
Aye.
I vote nay. Motion carries.
A long time coming.
Okay, John, we'll have the contract signed and then one of my girls will email it to you today.
Okay, that's fine. I'll make that one change because I'll be, the contractors won't have the signed one right away because I want to make sure they don't make any changes. And probably set up a pre-construction meeting either for Tuesday, the 31st or January 2nd, right after New Year's, and get the contractors moving ahead on it. And then we'll take that action immediately.
Okay. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
John.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Next up, announce plans for departure of the county attorney and discuss potential appointment of successor.
How long do we have to advertise?
Technically, we have 40 days from the day that he vacates. But there's no penalty if we don't get within the 40 days. I mean, the board has to decide either they're going to appoint or have a special election. I'm assuming you want to appoint at first. And then once the board makes the appointment, then there's a notice that taxpayers have 14 days to file a petition to call for a special election. So
When's the last day?
I think he told me the 13th of January.
January.
I have not gotten the official.
Yeah, we don't have a resignation
We don't have
letter, so
resignation
it's
letter, so.
premature, but on the issue, I think salary, as we consider compensation, would need to be a significant portion of the discussion.
But he said he'd still represent us, what was it, 2 months or something like that? Still help us.
Option.
We have to have a
approve
28-year
what we need.
agreement
Yeah.
with Lion.
How do we compare, Jason?
That office was better than most of ours, but we've had people run for the other office positions when they're open. When we have an open county attorney, I think that'll be a different scenario. So auditor, treasurer, and recorder were in the 90th range as far as counties, rank of counties. I think the attorney was 72. I don't remember what said the sheriff was, but so we're not as low on that one, but I don't think we're as desirable of a location as some, so.
What do we do, just put out an ad and first see what we get, or do you wanna do that ahead of time, Jason?
I'm just saying that looking down the agenda compensation, I would just assume not to make a decision on the attorney's compensation
Yeah.
if we move forward with the others today, I guess is most of what I was saying regarding that.
So if we put an ad in the paper, when do you want the applications back? Because I don't know if we can put an ad in the 8th or the 15th, and I don't know if you wanted a month, you wanted 3 weeks. What was your thoughts on that?
Same month.
Does that go other places then too, or not, or?
When I talked to Lion, they did put it on the ISAC's webpage.
Okay.
They put it in both their local papers, which I would do, and on our website, of course, and then they put it on ISAC. So that would be an option that we could do.
It's a good option.
Kind of talking to her and how they did it, you know. I have to have a special notice in the paper 4 to 20 days before we make the appointment, so. But I can't put that in right away until we know when we're gonna make an appointment and what we get, so. I don't know, I know, put in like the Sioux City, I know that gets quite expensive. I can't remember. That was a lot when we were for engineers, I think. That was a lot, but I can't remember the price. So I just didn't know the locals and ISAC. Or,
How much does Indeed, you run an ad on Indeed
I
or
don't
some of
know.
those online sites? They've become more popular lately.
We have, you know, when we did that for the engineer, we got a lot that weren't qualified.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were engineers, but not the right title of engineers. But I mean, I'm not saying it's a little bit different because you have to be an attorney, so licensed
In
attorney.
town here that used Indeed and they were not happy at all.
Yeah, I've never used it, so I'm not.
I haven't either. But we'd need his official resignation before we could advertise, wouldn't we?
Probably, yeah. I suppose we could be reaching out to counties, other counties, to see if they'd be willing to share 2080 or something, or figure that out.
So today, can we decide any of this?
Probably
Until we
not.
get a resignation?
At least consider, I guess, or
Yeah.
You could do like other smaller counties too and just hire a part-time private attorney. You can hire more than one.
Temporary, or you're
Just
saying?
like O'Brien's, they got part-time over there too. They still let them maintain private practice. But if there was enough work that you needed to hire 2 part-timers, you just have one part-timer handle one end of things, the other part-timer handle the other caseload of things, and
Well, it's something to look at once we get a resignation. We'll look at all the options.
I don't think it probably wouldn't hurt to reach out to other counties for assistance with that. I think we had help from O'Brien when Bob quit.
Yeah,
It was Clay.
Was it
Clay
Clay?
was sticking in my head, but
yeah.
I thought it was O'Brien, since he had spent so much time over there.
Sue helped Lion, but they didn't seem to really be on board
they
with
didn't
that
help me
100%,
very
so
long.
I don't know that.
No, they didn't help
It's
me
worth
very-
asking, but
Bob did help O'Brien. He did their kids or something. So I remember him going over there.
that was private though, wasn't it? Wasn't you doing that?
No, because you can't do any private work as a full-time attorney. We had some sort of agreement with them to help out. But I know they did return the favor.
But that's something to look at once we get his resignation.
January 13th, you say?
Tentatively, but unless that changes.
Any other comments? Consider elected officials' compensation.
I didn't make copies from last time, hopefully you still have all those.
Is it 3.5 to 4% across the board, right? Is whatever we discussed last time.
Jason, you don't think we should do anything with the attorney, or if we do,
He's gonna
It's just that I can start signing all the tabs.
I've called Jack, I've called ISAC, and waiting to get some answers, but I think we have a little more leeway with setting the salary without having reestablished a compensation board than we've had in previous years. Yeah,
And we
not
can do
knowing, I don't know the answer to that yet. I'm concerned, but I would prefer
And if
to
we do-
hold off action on that position until we
if
know
we
more.
would just, I'm just throwing this out there, if, not saying we should, just say we went with 3% or 4%. Can we change that as we hire somebody, or?
My thought would be no, but I don't have an official answer to that. I would
Okay.
be, I don't know, but I would have concerns that that would not be an option. But
I know what the attorneys get on the private sector, and we're not close.
And again, across the board, according to salary survey on ISAC's website, we were better than I expected. But Lion just hired, allegedly. And I think they're over around 20 more than us,
Okay.
so that's,
Is that where they were at before? Were they able to increase it from the previous salary?
I don't know that for sure. I don't know. Looking at the survey, I would venture the guess that it was the same as what it was before, but I do not know that for certain.
What is his salary now? Do you know?
104.
It's just over 100.
$104,472.
It's closer to 17, 20, I guess, but sorry.
And you're saying Lyon counties would probably be 120?
It was 121 something. But
Currently,
but I don't know.
If we give everybody a 4, I'm just saying, if we give them 4%, it'd be at 416. Which isn't too far off. I don't
No.
know.
Hmm? 4%
Maybe I
on
didn't-
104, 4% on 104, I'm getting 108.
Okay, maybe I did it wrong. I did it longhand.
There could be a mistake made that way.
You are right, Jason.
The other-
Sorry.
Appreciate what the sheriff presented, but is that something to hold off discussion until union negotiations are further along, or is that
Have we
not
ever
worth
gotten what the
considering?
union wants?
Hmm?
Have they ever submitted anything what the union wants? I haven't seen anything, that's why I wondered.
I actually like the way we did it this year. It isn't an extreme way, and we had to cut it in half. I think everybody was reasonable.
I do too.
that put their 2 cents in. I think that's worth considering.
Anyway,
As far as the sheriff goes,
and I never looked at the sheriff, is what he requested, is that put him to the top of it or to the middle of an average? Or
put him
Yeah.
in the ballpark, I think. What was it, 11 point something?
Yeah.
If you need clarification, you know, can maybe wait one more meeting if you need for the attorney. I don't know, but you know, we had to work on budgets here pretty soon too, so. I mean, if we want to hold off to see what ISAC said or whatever with the attorney, I mean,
It'd probably make sense to wait until you figured out if you could do anything with that other salary, but I don't think you can.
I thought we could, but
I don't know that answer.
for sure I don't either.
I don't think it would hurt for everyone to use the requested amounts as they start their budgeting. But
I remember we couldn't reduce it when we hired last time. It had to stay wherever it was at, so I don't know that you can raise it a big chunk out of there.
Not with not without going back to the comp board, I think. I think you could have raised it, but you had to go back to the comp board, if I remember correctly.
that wasn't during budgeting time and recommendation time. That's where I think now we're actually at an advantageous time to adjust to try to attract or find the right
And I
candidate.
think you'd benefit from waiting until you got the information.
Since we haven't established the salaries for the year, I think we could go up or down from where it's at. If we didn't establish the salary, then I don't think we'd have the flexibility.
Is it typically enough time?
Well, if we do it January 2nd, and they're probably doing everything but that, because we haven't talked about health insurance yet either, so they need that as well. I have that on the agenda for the 2nd because we need to get going on
I
that.
think Ryan will be available before that either. I reached out with him on the question yesterday too.
Okay, well then we have to wait till the 14th then. But, you know, we're cutting,
He's not on vacation until next Friday. Doesn't mean somebody in his office couldn't participate, but
I mean, they can do everything but that on their budgets. Wages and all that, FICA and and all that stuff they couldn't do until.
Everything but the
Salary, well, every department can do everything else in their budget except for salary and health insurance, you know, FICA, you know, stuff like that. They could start, just can't finish that part of it. I'm not for sure how much they'll do before the first of the year
Can we sign
anyway.
on all of them at once, or can we do part of them today and leave the attorney? I'm just asking, I don't
Yeah,
know.
we
that
don't know.
was one of my thoughts.
I'd say we leave the attorney alone, we can do the rest of them.
You can wait on the sheriff too, or you can do that one too.
I'm comfortable doing it now, but I got an idea in my head.
Yeah, if we don't act, then they're probably thinking 11%, so it may be, it is a double-edged sword, I guess. I hadn't thought of that previously.
I think there's some days out there.
Do you remember what their request was in the initial proposal?
The sheriff was 11.6 or something, wasn't it? I think we should go with the 4% and give I'm not making a motion.
No, I'm just writing down my notes.
I'd give Rochelle her $1,000 stipend and 5% for the sheriff. Just my thoughts.
Sounds
Not
reasonable.
saying they're right, I'm just,
Sounds reasonable to me.
somebody come up with another idea.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable to me.
I was thinking more the 3% range,
Okay, well,
and then 5% for the sheriff.
let's make a
Keep it
deal.
good.
3.5.
You should go on that. You should go on that show. Let's make a deal. You'd be good at that, Jerry.
I liked it that they were all reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always got me in the past, but some numbers came in that were,
Oh, what was it last year? 12 or something?
yeah, something over.
And I don't think it's unreasonable. I do think they made good presentations, just thinking of the jail funding and
Oh,
some of the
I
other
agree.
things. It's like, we need to see where this falls out before we, so I think it's been pretty reasonable increases last few years. I don't think 3 is unreasonable, so that's where I'm thinking a little less. I support the stipend for the auditor.
I kind of like your idea, but that's just me.
What do you think about my 5% for the sheriff?
I could go along with that. I think he presented what code says, and it's certainly not trying to meet that, but it's a reasonable step.
You know me, I'll make a motion for 3.5%, $1,000 stipend, and 5% for the sheriff. And leaving,
If everybody comes in here that's a department head and wants $1,000 stipend, are they gonna get it?
you know, I had that comment last month, but I think it's worth it, so we can, yeah.
And then is the board chair getting $1,000 stipend as well? Like you have been? I just want to make sure it's clear in my,
I think the
I
chair
would
is
say, yeah.
Okay.
more time than the other positions.
all
the
right,
rest
I
of them,
just
so
want to
I
make
think so.
sure.
I know what you're saying.
Oh, hell, it should be more than that for the chair. Boy,
I know what you're
it
saying.
should be more than what the auditors get.
I know what you're saying, Ed, and
I don't disagree, but I can't think of very many times we've sat around this table and said, well, they'll figure that out and send, or, they'll do that work for us and
I
present it to us. That office does
Yeah.
regularly.
And she gets it all
And
dumped
things
on the
that we
shoulders.
could or should do.
But she also got
So,
an extra help.
I do, but there's lots, she's still learning.
A lot of that was
So,
drainage too, which
Yeah.
is what we,
Yeah, which that has helped a lot, and I appreciate the board. Becky and I both appreciate that, because you have no idea that drainage, how much work, that extra work that is. It is unreal.
That's my motion. I don't care, whatever you guys think.
What was it again?
3.5
Five.
and 5 and $1,000 stipend for Rochelle and the chair of the supervisors.
Does that include attorney too?
That's leaving the attorney out.
Maybe it's
I'm
that's
sorry,
what I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
Except the attorney, okay?
We saved 0.5% in.
Yay!
Hey, let's make a deal. I'll support that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Oh, we want muffins and
I should have brought some. My grandson and I made some muffins and M&M bars last night.
Oh,
Get
that's
coffee
good.
today.
Everybody's gonna expect a lot more.
I know, right?
And I appreciate what your office does.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I want a fridge with
Not anything else?
There's a plug in there.
do you, are we on other business right now?
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth it I reached out a little bit to USDA, and I know you said, is it worth it? Sandy's the one that actually
Yeah.
brought it up to me
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
And I didn't get a whole lot out of him when I talked to him, but is it worth it to continue or just forget it?
I don't know. I wish it
I
was.
understand what you're saying about sometimes getting those grants ends up costing you money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Information won't hurt a bit.
Okay,
but I would, I
I'll maybe
mean,
pursue it a little more,
Yeah.
even if we get a,
if that's okay with you guys.
like 100,000 or, you know, anything would be helpful, as long as we don't have to pay it back.
But we cannot, that was what we discussed, so we cannot take a loan from them.
No.
No.
Well, we could, but that's coming off what we would borrow as a
Then we
GO
wouldn't do the
bond.
GO bond then.
We're maxed at loans of $5
$5
million.
million. 'Cause I was,
That would be the only consideration
Yeah.
to me, is if the rate's beneficial enough to
right.
do what they'll do at that rate.
Then we wouldn't get premium then.
What is it, 3.8 or
That
something?
was from the USDA. It was
Yeah,
about
3.86 or something?
That could change quarterly.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll see what,
I just know if there's other grants out there, you know, that we could,
I know Sandy's gotten a lot of USDA grants.
She has,
for
yep,
different
she
things.
has
Not
tried.
no- Not $500,000
No,
or anything,
anything's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But I'd heard someone say, and maybe it was at this meeting, that with the Trump's talk of the new Department of Governmental Efficiency,
Oh, I,
grants will likely become
yeah,
far less available than they ever were, but it's worth pursuing, don't mistake.
good.
Is there any interest in anybody joining up with any of the other counties to lobby against that House File 718 bill?
How many counties are going or lobbying for that?
Pretty good chunk of them that are looking to lobby against that bill, because the lobbying activities that you got now just didn't really make a dent in it.
Where's ISAC standing on that?
Oh, they fight it.
They were
Or
neutral
trying
last
to
time.
find.
Or what? I didn't hear what you said.
They're opposed to the approach that they're taking away power of the local government to decide how to do it. As far as a big bill with multiple areas, sometimes that forces them to go neutral so that they're not viewed as fighting against other things. But, so if you're on a one issue campaign, then yeah, it would be easier. But I don't know if it's worth the expense to. But
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt anything.
Just asking. Anything else? Other on? Will I take that last motion?
I will do that.
Support it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, say aye.